should we start to be a little bit concerned about the direction of this team? We broke it down for you guys. I wrote an article at 973ESPN.com looking at the record. They're 14-16. 7 of their 14 wins have come against playoff teams. 5 of their 16 losses are against non-playoff teams, which means of their 16 losses, 11 of them came against Washington, twice to Boston, Toronto, Houston, twice to Golden State, twice to Cleveland, New Orleans, and Oklahoma City. So is 14-16 about who they are and where they should be? Or do we focus Marc Jackson more in on the 5 losses to Sacramento, Phoenix, L.A., Chicago, and Sacramento again? Should we be zoning more in on those, or should we look at the bigger picture to get a better, clearer picture of who this team is?
I think right now, respectfully, they're still in growing pains because they have, and I don't want to be generic and say that, but they have so many people in and out the lineup with a minor injury here, miss a game here, miss 2 games here. And, those losses pile up when you don't have 1 or 2 of your pieces in there. And they don't even have to be a main piece, but just throwing that chemistry off can put you for a loophole and seeing out a spiral. I think it's very important, though, to keep in the fact that these losses they've had to Sacramento, the Lakers, things like that, I think that's letting you know that mentally they're not there as a good team yet to prepare themselves mentally for the real game. Real game meaning they're not all in on all games. That means they still take teams for granted, and that's the scary part to me.
Yeah, I agree that there's some nights now. I know people don't want to hear when you don't have Embiid. Well, you signed him, and you should have, been weary of that. But they're not the same team when he's not on the floor. That's apparent. But that's most teams in the NBA, Mark, right? You take LeBron off Cleveland, they're not as good. You take Kyrie off of Boston, they're not as good. You take Harden off of Houston, they're not going to be as good. And the Sixers are nowhere near the rest of the pieces-wise on the level of those. So you take Embiid out, that's a huge loss.
I agree. And it's not just, we're not just talking about one player here. We're talking about a transcendent player, a player that changes the whole dynamic of a team. And speaking of Joel Embiid, like you said, you can take Kevin Durant off Golden State. You can take Steph Curry off Golden State because they got 3 other guys that can get buckets, that can do their thing. The Sixers are very front star dominated, which means they have 2 superstars in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, who seems to dominate the game without shooting the ball, which is still mind-boggling. They only have 2 respects. They have other guys who feed off of them. Golden State has, 4 legitimate all-stars. They have incredible bench. They have guys on their bench that can start for the Sixers right now. So when you take Joel Embiid, who's definitely, if not the best center, he is the best center, but he's probably, if not the best center, maybe second behind Anthony Davis as far as big guys, in the entire NBA. For me, that says a lot. But it also keeps you abreast and understand that their talent pool is not as great as a lot of these super teams, as another teams like Golden State, like a OKC who's struggling, or like a Houston. You got to keep that in mind because when they played against Minnesota, I specifically paid close attention to the matchups, and it just hit me that, as far as overwhelming talent, I think Minnesota has so much more than the 76ers, and people want to say, oh, that's not true. Yes, it is. The 76ers has Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, respectively. But then let's compare teams like Minnesota, who has Jeff Teague, who's a very good player. They have Jimmy Butler. They got Wiggins. They got Big Cat. And they got Todd Gibson. They got some talent there. So it put me back into reality that the 76ers is not as talent-loaded as I originally thought. They have a lot of great pieces and role players around 2 transcendent players. But if one or both of those guys are unavailable to go, it changes the complete dynamic of their team.
Marc Jackson with us. Mark, since we're talking about Joel Embiid a little bit, are you concerned about this recurring back issue, or is it another case of them just being overly cautious with their big piece?
No, especially I'm a little what's the proper word? I am a little nervous because that lower back You know, when you have a lower back, as we know, that pretty much stops you in a standstill. It's not like it's a hand or something where he can still go get shots or still get some conditioning. Even if you put him in a swimming pool, you know, he still has to use his core, which engages his lower back, you know, his glutes. That's tough, because now it's not just him missing a game or missing 2 games. When he's resting, he might not be able to shoot the basketball because any pounding could cause further trauma to his back. I'm not a doctor, of course, but I have had back problems, and I do know that is a fact. So with that being said, even when he comes back, hopefully he plays Christmas Day. When he comes back, how off rhythm is he going to be? How is he going to help him? So, yes, to answer your question, I'm very concerned.
Yeah, and Mike and I were talking before you came on, Mark, about your darned if you do and darned if you don't in the case of how much you use him. I know that Brett Brown tried to say, look, there are times where if he's already out there, for example, the OKC game, people say, well, you played him so much, no wonder his back hurts. And Brett Brown countered with, you know, if he's out there and he's loose, that's the time to keep him out there. It tends to stiffen up on him and get more tighter if I do bring him to the bench.
Exactly, especially with that many minutes. You bring him to the bench, give him a 2-minute breather when he's at 49-minute mark, or even when he was down to 46 minutes, you say, oh, I can get him a minute here, 2 minutes here. But after all those minutes, when you come out and your body starts to relax, and then you try to get up and to get restarted, you only got 5 minutes of overtime. You know, by then, there's no way you can get back in there and get loose enough to contribute to your ball club. I agree with Coach 100%. You got to leave him out there, and you got to just pray and hope that he does not hurt himself bad enough where he can't play the next game. But, of course, look what happened. That is exactly what happened.
Let's talk about the other transcendent player that you talk about, which is Ben Simmons. And you hinted that he kind of quietly gets close to these triple-doubles. He was 1 assist shy of a triple-double the other night. But the number that bothered me was that he only took 6 shots, especially when Embiid's out. Wouldn't you like to see Ben Simmons shoot the ball more?
Listen, let's just say this. I'm first and foremost, I'm a fan of basketball. I've been a fan of basketball since I first was introduced to the game. But other than that, I am a former player. And with that being said, I would sure like to be a fly on the wall when it's just Brett Brown and Ben Simmons standing there talking. Because I know darn well Brett Brown's a basketball coach is not happy with him only shooting one time in those amount of time. It was him shooting the ball. I know Brett's in there, yo, what's wrong? You don't want to shoot? You don't want to play? Tell me what's going on. Talk to me. Because they might, I think now that we've gone to understand that they have a little bond. They have a bond thing going on. So with that being said, I'm quite sure Brett Brown, when we're not around, is in his ear like, yo, what's going on? Why are you not shooting the ball, man? We need you to score the ball. So to answer your question, I am curious. I'm scratching my head. And with that being said, what I mean by a former player, I wonder what Amir Johnson, what J.J. Redick, what those veterans are saying in the locker room. Because I'm quite sure if I'm playing with KG, and it's times that KG, and the first time we run plays, and I was teammates with Kevin Garnett, where he wouldn't shoot the ball if he was being double to triple team, he would pass it. And people say, oh, he should shoot it. And KG like, no, that's not the way to play the game. I'm not going to be selfish and do that. With that being said, if he had decided not to shoot the ball, we'd be all in KG face. Then shoot the ball, man. What's wrong with you? So I'm wondering what Amir Johnson and J.J. Redick are saying in the locker room. Like, are they saying, dude, I know you like passing, I love shooting, but you got to shoot the ball. I wonder what they're saying also.
Yeah, Mark. And, the one thing with Simmons is you wonder if this is more of a mental thing, that he does everything so well that he's got this concern that he knows he's not a good shooter, or he views himself as not a good shooter, and that he doesn't want to embarrass himself out there by missing shots or letting his team down because he can't carry them from that aspect of the game. You know what I mean? Like, does he have this mental block of, I know I can't make these shots consistently, so I don't want to let this team down. I'll let other people take the shots.
I agree. But I don't know if that's the case. I think I will hope to say Ben Simmons is a lot stronger mentally than that. Than to have that kind of thought process on his game. But I will tell you this: you're not going to ever become a good shooter if you don't ever shoot the ball. That's just the playing matter. You can work in practice all you want, get a lot of jump shots all you want.
Which he does, by the way. Which he does, Mark. Right? He works on that shot at practice all the time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now with him coming to he's not going to shoot it. Okay, I don't know what it is, but when Brett Brown made that statement, you're going to see him shoot a lot of shots tonight. I was really hoping he came out and shot 15 straight times from 15 feet out. But he didn't, because I feel as though I still think 76 is a lock for the playoffs. I really think, and I don't think they're barely getting in. I think they will get in if Joel Embiid get healthy and play majority of the game. But with that being said, you can't wait, because we all know, watching the games and watching how teams defend you in the playoffs, we all know that teams are going to defend you differently. So
Yes.
I really believe that teams are trying to force Ben to shoot the jump shot now, but he's so big and strong, he still overpowers as well from bullies balls to the rim. But I really can't wait to see how teams really defend him come playoff time. I think it's going to be so interesting, because if he don't shoot it now, he's not going to be able to make an adjustment to his game when the playoffs start. And I know it's early, but it's hindsight. You got to look at it. 2020. It's going to happen. So with that being said, you have to truly start shooting that ball now. Miss a couple, let your confidence get down, then build it back up during the course of the year. But you can't wait to playoffs to start shooting jumpers. It's too late by then.
He's a former Sixer, now NBC Sports Pre and post-game live analyst Marc Jackson at Jacko2544. Get at him on Twitter. And we'll, of course, talk more Sixers. Hey, Merry Christmas to you and your family, Mark, and we will catch up probably after the new year.
Sounds good to me, guys. Have a great day. Happy holidays.
All right.